My wife keeps telling me I need to go outside and touch grass. Boring! Why would I touch grass in real life when I can touch grass in the Nancy Drew games? Wait, can I touch grass in the Nancy Drew games? Let's find out, starting with Secrets Can Kill. I can see grass on the map screen, but I can't actually touch the grass. Thanks for nothing, Paseo Del Mar. The only thing I can say to stay tuned for danger is...
I don't want to see you, Serena.
Because your dumb game has no grass! Message in a Haunted Mansion takes place inside a single building with no grass. Treasure in the Royal Tower takes place during a snowstorm, so even though Nancy can explore outside, she can't touch any grass. The first time I played the final scene, I didn't want the theater to be destroyed. But now I do, because this theater doesn't have any grass. Secret of the Scarlet Hand has some nice looking grass, which I would love to touch. Unfortunately, Nancy Drew is a goody two-shoes who never leaves the path. Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake has some odd patches of grass outside of the house. Fortunately, the graveyard is absolutely covered with grass, which means Nancy Drew gets to touch grass for the first time ever. The Haunted Carousel is a tease because it is surrounded by a nice hill of grass, but I can't touch it. Danger on Deception Island has a lighthouse on a cliff, and guess what? It's surrounded by grass. Secret of Shadow Ranch has some grass at Mary's gift shop. Unfortunately, my horse Bob is hogging all the grass to himself, so I don't get to touch any. Curse of Blackmore Manor has some grass in the opening scene, but Nancy doesn't get to touch it. The culprit gets to touch grass, but Nancy doesn't? Talk about unfair! Secret of the Old Clock literally starts you off in this driveway, which has patches of grass. And if that's not enough, we also have a grassy pathway leading to Mr. Topham's house. Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon makes you wait a long time before you reach the cemetery, and you can die happily here knowing that you finally touched some grass. Danger by Design is another game that teases you with a lot of grass, which you can't touch because Nancy never leaves the pathway. Creature of Kapu Cave takes place in the jungle, where most of the pathways are covered with grass. White Wolf of Icicle Creek has a little bit of grass at the skating pond, but Nancy doesn't get to touch any. Legend of the Crystal Skull has fireflies in the backyard. When you walk up to them, Nancy touches grass. Phantom of Venice has no grass. The closest we get to touching green stuff is buying gelato. Haunting of Castle Malloy gets major respect from me because Nancy can freely walk around on grass as much as she wants. Ransom of the Seven Ships isn't a real game. That was just a bad dream. With some grass on top of a cliff. Warnings at Waverly Academy has a tiny bit of grass in between the two pathways outside. The same goes for the other end of the pathway. It's possible that Nancy stays on the path the whole time without touching grass. Trail of the Twister has a pathway outside the house covered with nice, fresh grass. Shadow at the Water's Edge has a garden. Nancy mostly sticks to the pathway, but when she does the EVP challenge, she goes behind the tree, meaning she touches grass. The Captive Curse lets you explore a dark, spooky forest, which has a little bit of grass. To be honest, I was hoping to touch more grass in this game. Alibi in Ashes has a little bit of grass here. Unless the characters are jumping across the debris, there's no way they can reach the window without touching some grass. Tomb of the Lost Queen takes place in the desert, so there is no grass, just sand. I don't like sand. Like Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake, Ghosts of Thornton Hall has a graveyard with plenty of grass to walk on. In The Silent Spy, there's a lot of nice looking grass at Loch Lomond. Too bad Nancy doesn't touch any of it. She does touch grass when she drops off this envelope at the Ten Raven Pub.
I'm going to pretend this...
The Shattered Medallion has plenty of open areas with no characters and lots of grass. Labyrinth of Lies has some grass on stage, but because it's a play, I'm pretty sure it's all fake grass. Sea of Darkness is another game where everything's covered in snow, so you don't get to touch grass. Seriously, the grass is right here. I want to touch it. Why can't I touch the grass? Midnight in Salem's title screen is literally a bunch of grass. Nice! Also, Nancy touches grass whenever she leaves the Perry house. So only 16 of the 33 Nancy Drew games let you touch grass. That's less than half of them. It's so disappointing. What does Nancy Drew have against touching grass?